Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Awaken the World live right now. It is 6 p.m. on the second day of the 11th month of the year of Oh My God 2020. Tonight, what stress is and what you can do about it right here in the Awaken the World group with me, myself, and I, and apparently a whole bunch of other beings too. Nice to see you all this evening. Really is. So, a couple things that we're going to be discussing this evening, and one of them is the nature of stress. And before I do that, I want to relay a couple things from the day today. So, I had a group member here in our home for about 2.5, 3 hours, I think, of what I would call discussion rather than counseling, I guess. And then I was on the live video feed with another group member for an hour earlier. And I've answered a few private messages from different group members. And, Kelly said something to me. She said, wow, a lot of people really seem to be struggling and suffering lately. And this is very true. It really is true. And first and foremost, I need you all to know that I love you all dearly. And I am there for every single one of you. And this is the way to healing our planet, healing ourselves, healing all of it, is to just be willing to open yourself and to love everyone around you. Now, that doesn't mean I invite destructive people into my home. That doesn't mean a lot of things that you would think, might be associated with that. What it really means is that I accept you as part of myself and exactly who you are. You don't have to be anything else except you. Because in my eyes, you're perfect as you are right now. And you are a deeply powerful spiritual being. Here, having an experience coming back to yourself. And you are so powerful that you literally manifest all of your creation from within yourself. This is the truth of you, and I love you as part of myself, as part of that whole. There's nothing wrong with you. But be willing to look at your perceptions, your point of view, and remember it's just a point. Be willing to love yourself and not judge yourself. And believe me, as the universe speaks through me to you, you are never judged by creation. Only loved. Another thing that I've come to understand, and I expect to see me tear up a couple times tonight. I'm sure it's going to happen. Is that in my own changing consciousness, as I seem to be, it's beginning to take almost logarithmic steps some days. I am impacted so fully. One group member reached out to me this evening, a little earlier, and it was like as soon as I connected to her through the message, it was like the only thing I could describe it would be like a waterfall of all these feelings and emotive states of energy, and it just washed over me. And I, in the past, have been very careful to try to form a little bit, not of a barrier, but more of a wall, a low wall, let's say, that would just take a little bit of that brunt and allow enough to wash over for me to get a taste of what was happening. And in recent times, I can't even create that little bit of space anymore. I get hit with the full brunt. And I've come to understand that that is just deepening my connection to all of you, stretching it out, stretching me out, making me aware that the love I'm capable of, it can grow even larger yet. What a beauteous state of being to be in. And it's available for you too. I need all of you to understand we are no different. There's no better than, no less than. You are just as powerful, just as knowledgeable, just as wise, and all of you are a lot better looking too, because I tell you, I wake up in the morning and I see myself in the mirror in the bathroom, and I gotta chuckle. I mean, I really do. The point is you are your own guru. I am just here to remind you of who you are. I said to the group member who was over at our house today, I said, if I had to describe myself, I would say that I am the eternal farmer. I just spend my time casting out seeds. It's not up to me where the seeds land. It's not up to me whether those seeds take root or not. The only thing that I can control is the willingness to love everyone enough to keep throwing out those seeds. And we all have this ability, we all have this gift to be able to choose what sort of seeds we sow into the world, often unawares of the results. Allow yourself to contemplate that and think about what sort of seeds that you release into the world. Now, what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, we're going to talk about stress and what you can do about it. And the first thing we need to do is, really define stress. Now, from a physical level, of course, there's lots of indications of stress, but stress never begins physically. It just never does. What stress is, ultimately, is a fundamental misunderstanding about your existence. And I'm going to relay a comment I made on a post on our wall earlier today. The person was speaking about prayer and whether, there was any issue praying for themselves and asking, whatever in their prayer. And I'm going to tell you, I've got a really big problem with the way most people pray. Because it reflects this same fundamental misunderstanding of the universe and your place within it. So this is what I had said, and this holds true about what we're going to talk about right now too. There are only two prayers truly available to somebody who has that fundamental understanding of the universe. The first prayer, gratitude. Gratitude for everything. Gratitude for everything you would judge as bad and good. Gratitude for the hard lessons and the soft lessons. The second, understanding. That's it. There's no other prayer to have. There's no other prayer to make. They're really quite meaningless once you understand the fundamental underpinnings of creation. You see, once you understand that you live in an ocean of love, you are made of that love, you are an expression of that divine love, you are an eternal, ever-present, omniscient being that spans all of creation sort of love, that's what you are. Where in that perfection is there room for something that should not be? Where in that perfection could you somehow be separated from that constant flow of love? Where in that perfection could you be small and powerless? For you are that ocean of love, manifesting itself as a wave upon the ocean of love. If you can't see that, pray for understanding so you can see it. That's it. So how do we apply that to stress? Well, stress is that same fundamental misunderstanding. It's not understanding your place in creation. And your place is not a place of weakness. It is not a place of life beating you around. It is a place of you manifesting creation within yourself. Take all your senses away. Take it all away. No input whatsoever into this being. Prove to me that there's anything there at all without any senses, without any input, without any ability to discern anything. It would all disappear. And you couldn't prove otherwise. And if there was absolutely no one else around, you couldn't even prove that all of creation didn't just disappear right along with your loss of all that input. You are the processor of life itself, and life pours from within you. This entire journey is a journey inside. It is not a journey outside of yourself, even though it appears to be. And as long as you stay focused on what you appear to be seeing in this play you're experiencing, stress is easy to understand. It's easy to understand how you could feel stress or stressed out. But really, stress is all about a lack of acceptance of what is. If you develop the faith that no matter what's going on, it's there to serve you in some way, you can let go of that stress. You can choose to perceive things from a different point of view that feels better, because after all, it's just a point of view. So now that we know that stress is that fundamental misunderstanding of what and who you really are, and a failure, not a failure, a refusal to fully accept life as it is right now, there are a lot of ways that you can get over that stress. And fundamentally, and funnily enough, gratitude. Prayers of gratitude. Waking, every morning I wake up, I take about the first 10 minutes and I'm lying there and I'm barely awake, but I'm awake enough. And I go through a cycle of as many things that I can think of right off the top of my head that I can see through that dim crack in my eyes in the morning and feel and experience. And I'm grateful for all of them, including the pain in my back or the pain in my teeth. I love them all. I accept them all openly and gratefully. And in that, the pain isn't really that bad. It becomes manageable. Why? Because I'm not pushing it away. You see, whatever we try to push away from ourselves, we're expending energy into it, which is just making it stronger. And we fail to understand that the more we push, the stronger it becomes. And that goes with any perception of pain or suffering in our life. The more we push against what is, the more stressed out we become. The more pain we perceive, the more suffering we perceive. So try to experience gratitude even if you're in the depths of despair. Gratitude for the opportunity to experience that state of being. Gratitude for a growing awareness of the way out. To open yourself and accept what is. And then to choose for yourself from that powerful place of knowing that you are not judged and you can do no wrong, but you are responsible for your creations, not to be blamed. You see, blame is that never-ending spiral that there's no escape from. Responsibility involves action, movement, and allows you to exercise your power. For in taking responsibility, total, full responsibility for your being, your power is fully returned to you. No longer can something outside of you make you feel anything, because you know you're responsible for the way you feel. That is true power. That is the power that you came here with. You came here so whole, so complete, so filled with excitement at life. Remember your childhood. Remember playing. Remember having no care in the world, but somehow knowing you were perfectly safe. Those things can appear to be taken away, but they never are. They're just covered over by our own lack of vision. The programming we allow to settle within us. The opinions of others we allow ourselves to take on to ourselves. You are a mirror unto yourself. And stress can only begin in the mind and then spread from that energy through the energetic being we would call the body. And it can very often manifest as inflammation. So if you're feeling a lot of stress and you're a person who tends to stuff things into them and not speak them out and excise them from your being in some way, you're going to have a sore gut. Maybe you're going to have, colitis, GERD, any number of possible stomach issues that can develop, or kidney issues. UTIs are a common sign of that for people who get recurrent UTIs. There's usually a lot going on that they're not willing to express. When we experience pains in our heart, we're often not being true to ourselves. And over time, the dissonant energy of us not being fully open and honest with ourselves, which will lead to being fully open and honest with others, literally begins to physically hurt because of the amount of blocked energy there. One of the greatest things that can cause stress, however, is our own opinion about ourselves. And I want to talk tonight about the perception of darkness within you. We have been taught or bought into or accepted through religion, or being told by our families, or whatever the case may be, the idea that there's things you should not be or should not think. You're not really in control of your thinking anyways, are you? I mean, you can take over partial control, but a lot of the thoughts that bubble up, you don't really even want them there. And yet there they come. I want you to understand that there is no darkness in you. It is only a perception of darkness. And the parts of ourselves that we find to be damaged, we often push those away. We push them deep within ourselves. We don't want to face it. We don't want to look at it. We don't want to face what we perceive as our own darkness, but it's not. That's still you. It's still part of that loving sea of creation. It's still part of that creator. And it is not darkness. It is there only as an illusion. It is your energy. And when you tear that away from yourself, or push yourself away from it, or deny it within yourself and not love it and accept it, and you don't have to give in to, okay, let's give you an example. This will really help. I, of course, have spent a long time as a soldier, not only in this life. I have taken part in many, 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 many lives where warrior and soldier and war were synonymous with who I was. Now, I could look upon that part of myself and look at what I've done to others and the killing of other human beings, and think of that as a darkness within myself, and allow myself to succumb to post-traumatic stress and think so poorly of myself that one day I just decide to take my own life. And I was there at one point. I freely admit that. But the reality of it is that supposed darkness is still part of me. And when I look closely at it, there was so much good there as well, so much benefit. I tell you, if there's 20 people milling around who can't get something done, put me in charge and watch how fast things get moving. I've always been told you're a natural born leader. People naturally gravitate to you, and you seem to have the ability to get people lined up and working by leading by example. That's not a bad part of myself. It's not darkness. It's a very strong energy signature, that's for sure. But becoming aware of it and accepting it and opening yourself to it, you actually catch it rising in you, and you decide consciously, you choose, do I need that energy right now, or is this an old response? Eventually, you fully transmute that darkness into the light that you are, and you reclaim all that energy onto yourself. And still, if necessary, you can utilize that energy in the form that you perceived as darkness. But now you choose consciously whether it benefits the situation or does not. Another good way to deal with stress, of course, is to meditate. To take time for yourself every day, even if it's only to watch your own breath for a few minutes. Love yourself. Do something for yourself to show yourself you love yourself. That's a whole lot of yourselves. Take a nice warm bath with some Epsom salts. Light some candles. Throw a little bit of essential oil in there. Put some bubbles in. Shut the light off and sit back and allow yourself to realize that right now, in this moment, there's absolutely nothing wrong. If it comes down to stress literally bowling you over, there are numerous herbal supplements that I can suggest. For example, ashwagandha is fantastic. Tulsi or holy basil tea is another fantastic adaptogenic herb. Try to avoid pharmaceuticals to fight stress. They can lead to dependencies. And remember that anything you take or try to do to support the body and mind in the physical sense when it comes to stress is only fighting a symptom of what's going on in the deeper recesses of the thoughts. And you really have to start looking at your perceptions and your point of view, and understand that your point of view is just a point of view, and that your perceptions you decided upon them one way or the other, and you can decide new perceptions. If you love yourself first and foremost, that has to be in every aspect of you, which means if the thoughts aren't loving you, change the thoughts. It's going to be bitter lemons at first, as Buddha once said. But it is sweet honey in the end, and that sweet honey will continue for eternity. Trust me, you will come to a place of equanimity with your existence. Open yourself to life. Realize that you are loved beyond your wildest imagination. And of course, should you need, reach out to me. I'll be here for you. Namaste. Much love to you. Have a wonderful Monday night. And we'll see you again very soon.